And I understand that when you left North Korea, because of the famines, you went to China. Would you be able to tell us a little bit about that, please?
This famine is still my nightmare. Is that we usually see dead bodies in outside, and we every day heard my neighbors who died, who families died, and their family members separated, and they don't know each other. So it was a really painful moment, because many neighbors, we life is together all that is all whole life, but we've seen these dead bodies, but we couldn't say that people died of starving. We said that is people died an illness, because North Korea government said to us, socialist country, no one hunger, no
Yeah,
one died of starving. Yes, yeah.
I remember them saying that if you used the word famine, that it would actually be forbidden and punishable if you said it was because of starvation, as you say.
Yes, yeah. So that's why government said that it was all those march, because all those march, this means in 1930s when Kim Il Sung fight Japanese era, and they happened this moment they no food or something that they just only stayed some places. So they really hard times. They explained it to us. We learned that, but we didn't know that that is true or not. So government said that that's also is all those much. We fight against Americans. So they never solved any problems. So in 1996, but there's many families and people I knew died in a street. And one day in 1996, my lovely uncle, died starving in front of me.
I'm sorry to hear that. I
Yes,
understand. Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
So that is really painful, and me and my father is speechless. We couldn't say any word, And then I had a lot of questions because we believed our leader. We respected to them. We really hard work, but why we received this kind of starving? Why they not solving these problems? I had a lot of questions, but I couldn't say because I really scared about the systems. And then my father also started the illness because he also shocked because he was a work party member. He always respected to them, but his brother died of starving, and his colleagues the same is died of starving. So he was shocked, and then he started is hemorrhage, is heart problems, and but we couldn't get any medicines. So my father also did the administrations and the illness. But again, 1997 happened again. Is my younger brother also came to home. He left his militaries because first times I did understand. I didn't know why he left his military, but then after he explained it to us, he's joined in some groups because in North Korea usually paid respect money to government. That is not only is people, is a student and the housewife, is company workers. Everyone is paid respect money to government. But my brother also joined these groups because they want to make money, but they failed and they didn't make money to government. So this means really political meanings. They punish it and they send it to prisons. So that's why their group members ran out, and he went to the home. So he went to the home, and 2 days after, soldiers came to my house, and they found out my younger brother, and then they beaten to him, and then they arrested him again. But he escaped again. So I have to save my younger brother, and then my illness brother. Last wish was save your younger brother. You leave this country. You have to leave this country. So that's why 1998, it was February, very cold winter. So I abandoned my illness father alone in cold dining room. And then I left North Korea with my younger brother. So I still don't know when my father passed away and where his body.
I'm sorry to hear that. I understand that when you left for China as well, you became separated from your younger brother as well, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. Once in China, I thought that maybe me and my younger brother life was changed because I thought that China was greener places, but that is the same as North Korea. So my younger brother and me is separated. The reasons that I was sold to Chinese man uh, because it's many brokers in border areas. They and catched up North Korean females and they selling it to us. So same as me, I was a human trafficking, sold to Chinese man and separated my younger brother, and then he sent back to North Korea. So now it's 20 years is passed, but I still don't know that he's a survivor or not because I don't get any information. But I never give up my hope. One day I have reunited with my younger brother, so I never give up. I still wait for my younger brother.
I hope that does happen. So I understand that eventually the Chinese authorities found you and sent you back to North Korea again.
Yes, yeah. I stayed in East China 6 years, and also I have a son, but my son was a statelessness child because China government not allowed my son, and they not gave to him is a kind of identifications. The reasons that I was North Korean. So they not accept my child. So my child also 5 years statelessness, and then my life also same statelessness life in China. So in China, it's usually they find out that it's North Korean refugees because North Korea and China they made the agreement in 1983. It's both countries is who people escaped their country and then they sent back to them with them. So they're not allowed that is United Nations the justice or refugees issues. They never allowed to that because two countries social and communist countries. So, so China is usually find out the North Korean refugees. So someone who find out the North Korean refugee and then contacted the police, and after they paid money to them. So North Korean is always is kind of price. Women is human trafficking, and they learned a lot of money. And someone is finding the North Korean refugees, and also China paid money to people. So many people they can't work because they find out the North Korean refugee. This money is better than their monthly salaries. So same as me, is someone is contacted to is the foreign office. This person is not contacted the police. He contacted me as a foreign office, and then so that's why 10 Chinese authorities came to my house in night times, and they arrested me in front of my son. That time is he only 5, but I couldn't explain to him what happened. And I couldn't say to him goodbye or waiting mom. I didn't say because Chinese authorities never allowed to me and my son's last words. So, and then I sent back to North Korea and my son alone in China.
That must have been really difficult. And I know that you were sent to a prison camp, weren't you? And I believe that you were beaten so much that you got gangrene in your leg, and then they said you can't stay in the prison camp anymore. You have to leave, and this is where when you were sick, you went back all the way back to retrieve your son. And
Yeah. Yes, yeah, we sent back to North Korea. First, we sent the security prisons. So this security prisons, we stayed in only one places with the man and the woman, and inside they have but only one toilet, and this toilet is covered only 50 centimeters, and everyone is just sat down in front of the toilet, all people. So men and women is usually use one toilet, And if they use that is a stand up and everyone is sick. And they have got no spaces. So we sat down and we cannot move. So if we move and they punished to us, and the nighttime we slept is under the people because it's those rooms and no window and no water inside. So that's a hygiene is really disgusting, and the smelling is disgusting, and the food also really disgusting. So inside they asked to us three questions first. So do you met South Koreans when you lived in China? Or do you visit the church? Do you believe the religion or something that they ask? And the third one is many people, that they try to left escape to China again because China is not a safe country. So many people, they wanted to go to South Korea, but their journey was failed and sent back to North Korea. So these three is really main political problem issues. So these people have to send political prisons, and it's the same as me, it's human trafficking, or someone need to buy food or need food cross the border. So that is less than is political issues. So we send it to another concentration camps. It's kind of re-education camps. So I sent to the re-education camps, but the re-education camps they not allowed the shoes. We walked in outside because in case we escaped this land or places. So we always is barefoot walking outside. But North Korea is not kind of pavement. They really dirty and on pavement, and the stones, glasses, it's animal piece everywhere. So I worked in countryside in farmer areas. So when I stepped in glasses or stones, and we bleeding, but we continue to walk. If you stopped and they just kick, torture any times you. So I didn't know what happened, but I maybe stepped because already it's blooding, and also I also menstruated because inside not is a proper food menstruated and impacted this virus. So one day my temperature is 39 or 40 degrees, and sometimes I was stable, but they didn't give me any medicines. And then my leg was swollen, and all leg is changed the color, is dark purple colors, and also my body is smelling was look like that is a dead person is smelling, and the hair color is changed, face was changed, everything is and my half body is never I never is touched because it's in here is my head is I wanted to go toilet, but I already did because it's halfway. I didn't is feeling everything that. So that's why they said that you cannot die inside the camp. You just died outside anyway. So they released me because they talked about that as I could be died. Yeah, but I survived. The reason is that is my son alone with me in China. So my son is my last family. So my strength was that is I want to reunite with my son. That is my hope. That is why I stayed in prisons all life. So I never died.
That's good. It sounds really horrible that the conditions that you're in that prison camp, and I'm really sorry to hear that that happened to you. But I understand that, of course, you obviously did recover, and you went to retrieve your son in China, and then made your way to, was it the Gobi Desert in Mongolia?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So when they released me, and 3 months I stayed in public places, and then every week police checked my conditions, because if my condition is better, they bring me again in prison. So if they bring me again to prison, I could be died. So I usually hide my conditions to police, but I that times I continued is yellow waters came out, and I couldn't walk that times. But 3 months after, I did my work, but I continued to hide to them. And then, in 1998, when first my escaped North Korea, that time is not many brokers inside North Korea. But in 2004, that was changed, totally changed. Many brokers inside, and they look after girls and women, because girl and women is rich money, is money in China. So I already knew that. So that's why I promised to brokers is human trafficking to myself to China, because my son wait me in China. So I had no options because my health is not good and I had no money. So that is only my options. I chose my option. That is saved my son's way. So myself human trafficking to China. But once in China, we on the taxi, and when we cross the North Korean border, we not only me, is with the broker and also another lady, same as me, human trafficking, and also old man. So we 4 people cross the border, and then after we on the taxi, but usually taxi drivers the same. They asked a lot of questions. So if we didn't say Chinese, and he just is drive to us is police stations. But it's 3 people, they can't speak Chinese. It's only me speak Chinese. So I want to say to him, it's a family, and I had problems because the snail bit my legs. So they went to the hospital, something that, so he believed. So I saved all people. So then I want to told to him, he's a broker. So I have a son. I want to contact it to him. But first he denied. But the next day he told me that he also 2 children in North Korea. So yesterday, if you didn't save it to us, maybe I also sent back to North Korea, stay to prison. So my children also sent to prison. But you saved my children. So that time I want to save yours and your child. So he said that's free to go. So then I want to find out to my son. And in 2005, we wanted to go South Korea, because many people, they got many North Koreans, they went to go South Korea. But our journey was failed, which is really dangerous journey, because we had no passport, no kind of identity card. So we can't inside the South Korea embassy. So then we met 9 North Korean refugees in front of the Beijing's in South Korea embassy, and then 9 people. We said that it's Ulaanbaatar. They have one of the South Korea embassy, but we didn't know where is the Ulaanbaatar. But it's all people. We thought that is the same thing. Survival. We have to left this country. That is only we think about that. So that's why we went to the Mongol in really Mongolia border areas, and we crossed this Chinese border. But the China border is really strong fences and 2 meter high. So we crossed cut off this border, and then many people just run. But me and my son, that time my son is only 6, and me leg had problems, so we didn't run. And my son didn't understand why we crossed this border. He's really scared. So I only holding his hand, and we walked. And after I find out that it's a Chinese police car, and the car came to us, it is close to us. I really scared at this moment, but I couldn't say any word. I just only strongly hand up to my sons. And after one man came to us, came to us. So I thought that it was a Chinese police, but this man not a Chinese police, and this man came to us and backed my son and hold my hand, and then we ran and crossed the second Chinese border, and then ran and after arrived in Mongolia border areas. So after I looked at him, and he also North Korean refugees we met in Beijing, but he saved to me and my son's life because he already went to the Mongolia and he didn't find me and my son. So he crossed again because he knew that is if he arrested and sent back to North Korea and what happened he already knew, but he never cared about himself. So he only talked about this one mother and one this child I wanted to rescue. He only talked about. So he saved me and my son, and then I felt to love him. So he's now is my husband. Yeah, we live together in the UK.
That's one thing that you can always take away. That's a very happy thing that the man who helped rescue you from China also is now your husband, which is great. I mean, it's nice to hear that something positive actually happened to you, and I understand that once you got to Mongolia, I think you were referred to the UN, weren't you? And then they were the ones who were able to get you out. Is that right?
No, we stayed in Mongolia. It was a desert, but I didn't thought about that Mongolia was a desert, and my imagined the desert was is sand, lots of sand, but Mongolia is totally different, And then we stayed in desert 3 days and we couldn't find any persons. So after our food is gone and the water is gone and it was really cold. So first my son is dying because of thirsty hunger and his adult is the same. And then we decided that we cannot die in this desert because nobody find out that is our bodies. So then we crossed the border again and went to China.
Okay.
And then I stayed in China with this man and 2 years and stayed in China 2 years. So my husband is made Korean dessert in our home and then I sold to in a market. So our life is 2 years in kind of this self-business life in China. And then I met the Korean pastors in a market because he was my customer and he knew that we were North Koreans. So he then sent to us United Nations. But first time is I didn't believe that United Nations helped to us because I never heard United Nations, these names, and what kind of work they do. I never knew that. So I only thought about that this is a kind of brokers, yeah. Because simply I thought about that is United Nations also kind of brokers. So we went to the United Nations and they asked to us which country do you want to go. It's South Korea, America, or European country. But before I said that is I can't trust the United Nations first because I didn't know what kind of work they do. So and I didn't choose the South Korea and America because already by experience once repatriated to North Korea and what happened in prison, we already seen this kind of that. So we don't know that our journey is a success or not. But at that time is we have children because my old son and then my second son was born in China. So we have 2 children now that time. So we now is a whole family because me and my husband and the children. So we have to choose a safe country. But North Korea, if we unsuccess, and every country is not safe for us. Everything is political meanings, but risk is less than America or South Korea's another countries. So that's why I chose England. The reasons that North Korea and England is not enemy countries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is maybe we unsuccessful this journey, but our risk is less than South Korea or America journeys. So that's why we chose England, and then everything is United Nations provided to us.
To watch the full video, please become a premium member at lotuseaters.com.